Hey guys, Miss Luck, Foods 1 and 2. So I am gonna make some tacos and taco soup. So I'm gonna show you how to kind of do a twofer for 1 pound of hamburger. Kind of stretch it out, make it last a little longer. Some money saving stuff. That way we have tacos for the kids. I have taco soup for days, and super simple, easy, super yummy. So you might like it. So I thought I would record this so you guys could see it. So all I have here is, in my big pot, I have a pound of hamburger. So I'm going to cook my hamburger, and I'll pick it back up and so I can show you guys. So I'm going to cook my hamburger first, and this is just a pound of 80/20 hamburger from the grocery store. And then for tacos, all we need is our tortilla things, whether you like crunchy or soft, and then your taco seasoning mix stuff. So then I'll take half of that out for their tacos, they can have tacos, and then for the taco soup, I'm just going to use some kidney beans or pinto beans or whatever kind of beans you can use, black beans, whatever kind of beans that you like in your soup, and some tomato sauce, some corn. And this is just corn that you can use corn in a can. This is just corn that I canned this past summer. And that's kind of all I have. So that's what I'm using. And then just some chicken broth. I like to use low sodium chicken broth. Just because it's so full of it. And then anytime you use canned things, it can have a lot of sodium in it. So, I'm going to see if I can get this a little higher. There we go. Alright, so I'm just going to brown my hamburger first. And then I take my taco soup and just sort of, once I get it done, I put some extra shredded cheddar cheese in it, and that sort of thickens it up just a tiny bit. And I put it in my bowl, put a little extra cheese on top. And then I like to crunch up some Tostitos in it. So it's kind of like a crunchy taco bowl. It's just got a little bit more stuff in it. Super good. I love it. So. And it's super cheap too. Most of this stuff don't really cost very much at all. And so there's 3 people here. Me, my husband, my son. My son will eat tacos. My husband will eat tacos. So it's enough for them to have dinner. I can have taco soup, and then I will have a container of leftover taco soup to last me like for 2 more days. Like for lunch, for school, or just to snack on. But it's a lot of protein because not only do you have your hamburger, which is pure protein, and you have your beans too. And that's a lot of protein as well. And then your corn is a veggie, it's a starch, it's a carb. But you've got your tomato sauce, your chicken broth, and it's a good source of protein as well. So I thought this would be good for our protein chapter, I guess. So can of beans of your choice, corn, some tomato sauce, some chicken stock or chicken broth, some seasoning. You usually want to do a couple of packets of this in your hamburger. You can do this with chicken, you can do it with ground chicken, you can do it with shredded chicken, you could do it with beef, like steak. It's really good. If I did it with the steak, I'd probably do a beef broth rather than a chicken broth. But lots of protein. Super yummy. And it's a way to sneak in vegetables. If there's other things, you can put some extra onions, some extra garlic, some peppers, bell peppers, some red peppers. These, depending on what you like, can be a little spicy, but you might want to add a little extra red pepper. A little jalapeno would help it a lot. But for kids and the husband, I kind of can't do that. So. And then, as always, we clean up as we go. So I'm washing just a couple of dishes that I already had. Hamburger is browning away here. And also go ahead and do my taco meat in a pot. That way if I know I'm doing the soup after, then I can just, it's kind of a one pot deal. So while that's cooking, I'm going to go ahead and I have some seasoning packs that are kind of already open where I use all kinds. I use taco seasoning for all kinds of things. So we're going to open up our tomato sauce. And that'll be ready to go. Go ahead and open up my kidney beans. Now beans have to be strained. You know, if you know that or not, but they have kind of a weird thick like juice on them, and I don't like it in my soup, so you have to drain them. Give our hamburger a stir there. And it's coming along. That's really the longest part of any of this is browning your hamburger. So I'm going to drain my kidney beans. So I just put them in a little strainer, and I'm just going to give them a rinse. Kidney beans for later. And I'll keep my strainer out, and I'll put a bowl underneath it so I can drain my hamburger. Get rid of this. And these I gotta use an opener because I can these myself, so it's not like a regular jar. And I'll drain the water off of the corn as well. And I'm just going to put that in there with my beans. So there's my veggies kind of ready to go. And I'm going to get a little bit of water for taco seasoning. So really, while the hamburger's cooking, you can have everything else prepped and ready to go. So I have my chips, I have my tortillas for my tacos, and my soup. I have my shredded cheddar cheese. So next step is to drain our hamburger, and you know it's done. It just kind of turns brown from red to be brown now, and then we'll just drain the liquid off, which is all fat, and you don't want that. So hamburger is drained. It'll go back into our pot. Minus all that fat and oil. And kind of gross, guys, but that's kind of what you're left with. That's all the nasty fatty stuff that you don't want. So.
What are you doing?
Making a video. It's protein week, so I'm making a video.
I didn't know tacos were protein.
Hamburger is, beans are.
Where's the phone?
Alright, so since I'm not using all the hamburger or one or the other, I'm gonna start with probably about half of this pack, just because my family does not like very spicy, so I held some back out of this pack, and then I can add more later for my soup. So we've got that in there, and I'm going to do about 2/3 of a cup of water in there. And stir that all around. Okay. So that's what our taco meat looks like before it cooks down. Okay, so it'll just kind of reduce down a few minutes. I'm gonna put my lid on. Let that cook down for just a few minutes. Let it, the seasonings in the taco seasoning packet it'll just kind of thicken up for your tacos, and be really good. And then once that's done, I'm gonna pull out some of the taco meat for them to go ahead and have dinner. That way they can go ahead and be eating their dinner while I'm finishing up my soup. Again, we're going to clean up as we go. I have a couple of dishes to wash now. The good thing about cooking is there's tons and tons of opportunities to multitask. I mean, obviously, if I just stared at that pot, it's not going to make it cook any faster, and I'm going to get nothing else done. But by letting it sit there and do its thing, it's cooking away, it's going to doing its thing. I'm not forgetting about it. I can get a couple extra things done. I can lay down, I can get dishes washed, make sure I got all my ingredients ready, put away utensils I'm no longer using. let's check on our soup. Or, sorry, on our taco meat so we can get our soup started. And it's thickening up quite a bit. Let it keep thickening just a few minutes. Let's let that cook down for another second before we pull some out for tacos. And once we pull out the hamburger for the tacos, so the family can start eating their dinner, the taco soup will come together instantly. Like, we've already got everything ready. We've got our beans drained and rinsed. We've got our corn drained. They're in here together. We've got our sauce ready to go. We've got our broth ready to go. We've got our extra taco seasoning here ready to go. So it'll come together super fast, super easy. And then it'll just simmer a few minutes and it's ready to go too. So in the time we cooked tacos for dinner, we can kind of have 2 meals with some leftovers. There's only 3 of us. A pound of hamburger will go a pretty long ways, depending on how big your family is. So I'm going to, that bowl is way too big. Okay, I'm going to take out some of this hamburger. Alright, so there's enough for tacos for them. There's a little bit left for me for my soup. I lost a piece of corn a little while ago, and there it is, so give them their corn back. Alright, so I'm going to put this over here. And we have some taco meat. We have some shredded cheese. We have some shells. We have some Tostitos in case they want to make their shells a taco bowl. Lettuce, tomatoes, sour cream, any of that good stuff that you'd like to include. So now, tacos ready. That's one meal, okay, for the fam. So we just have a little bit of taco meat left in our thing. We're going to add some vegetables in. That's our beans and our corn that have been drained. Okay. The rest of this packet of taco seasoning. Now this takes quite a bit of taco seasoning. I don't know why, there's just something about it. And I have some extras here where I have used them for other things. So I'm just going to use those up. And then I'll taste and see if I need to add more or less. All of that away. So altogether, this was probably 2 full taco seasoning packets more that I added in. Okay, so I added my drained, rinsed beans. I added my drained can of corn. I added 2 more packets of taco seasoning. And that's kind of what you're left with. I add my tomato sauce. I'll mix that in. Got like a very goulash reminiscent thing going on right now. Okay, so then I have this can of tomato sauce. Okay, and there's still stuff in there. And since I'm going to be using broth, you can also use some water. I can rinse my can out with it and get the rest of that tomato juice or tomato sauce out of there. Since I'm going to be adding this in anyways, then we can chunk that. And so that has thinned it out quite a bit. Okay. So it's still a hair bit thick. There's a liquid. I'm going to add a little more of our broth. And this is just a 32 ounce broth. You can probably use 2 cans of this, 2 of the small cans and be fine. And that is thinned out pretty good, looking like soup now. I'm going to get myself a tasting spoon. It's still probably cool, it's not warmed up yet, but I want to give my seasonings a taste. Make sure it's warm enough, which is usually why I end up having a pack of this open, because I always go back and add just a hair more. Like maybe just another half pack or something. Where did my scissors go? I don't know why, but I always end up having to go back and add just a touch more taco seasoning to get it flavored the way I want it. But all in, probably you could get by with 2 packs just fine. 3 be on the safe side. They're, depending on what kind you get, the name brand or the store brand, you can get them for like 40 cents a pack. The kidney beans, the tomato sauce is super duper cheap. The beans are pretty cheap. The broth you can get for $1 a box. You could probably make this from the Dollar Tree if you had to. All the ingredients, they would probably have them there. So it was very cost effective. And I think that's gonna be enough broth. So we can take our little lid, put this back on, and I can use it for something else later. And so now for my favorite secret weapon. It's a little loose, but we've got it kind of where we want it taste-wise. So now I always throw in a little bit of cheese. Shredded cheddar cheese. And that'll kind of tighten it up. and it just does something really cool in there that I love. Okay, so stir that in. Let that cheese get all melted in there, and it'll thicken up just a little bit. And I will serve this in a bowl over crushed tortilla chips with a little more cheese on top. And that's it. Full of protein. So you got your hamburger in there, you've got your beans in there. So packed full of protein, add all the veggies you like. This is kind of one of those imagination things. Anything you can imagine you can put in here. Super good, super tasty. It's great for a warm day because it'll warm you right up, all those taco spices in there. So feel free to try this, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I do.